Diary, hello, it's Saturday, July 13th, and you're looking at a lovingly restored eTap powered bicycle, which I shall come on to in a minute. But first, I have an exciting discovery, which is that I now know the answer to the question which interviewers sometimes put to you, which is, what is your greatest failing? And I found out what mine is, and mine is my extreme annoyance slash desire to get things working when they have failed. And so the story is that about last summer, in fact, I bought the eTap group set, having saved up for it. It didn't really get installed till the autumn of last year and wasn't really used until January 2019 this year. And after about 2 months of use, maybe three, the rear derailleur started to act up. First of all, it would just not respond to shifting. And that could be fixed, I found out, by going to the front derailleur, messing about with the front, just changing it up and down, and then going back to the back derailleur, and that would seem to fix it. Also, taking out the battery seemed to help. This went on for about a month. And then one day, it just stopped working completely. Obviously, we were just out on a ride when it stopped working completely. Left us totally in the lurch. So another important thing to know about eTap is that you can't return it to the tech support in the UK. You have to return it through your retailer. So I managed to get through to SRAM Direct Technical, and they said, yeah, we think it's a dead system, because without touching anything, with the battery applied to the rear derailleur, let's get close up of the rear derailleur here. So without touching anything, without touching the handlebars, there's a button, there's a manual button, and when you press the manual button just once, it allows for the derailleur to move, and if it doesn't move, then basically the chances are that derailleur is not working correctly and it's buggered. So I sent it back to Wiggle, and initially Wiggle were not very responsive, I have to say, and very disappointing, but they have come good in the sense that it's been about 2 to 3 weeks and I've got a new part. So the story really is how to fit the damn thing back. Now, when I was taking it off, I didn't want to mess around with the chain. I'm the kind of person that doesn't really like to split the chain and reintegrate it. And certainly for Shimano chains, where you've got to push a pin out, because until recently there was no such thing as quick release chain, I've always really not wanted to push the pin out, because pushing that pin out and putting it back in again is a very awkward business. And so when I was packing the rear derailleur, the failed derailleur, back to Wiggle to send to SRAM, I chose to undo the derailleur. So what you can do, if you can see here, is this plate has 2 jockey wheels in it, and there's a plate at the back and a plate at the front. And there's a hex nut here and one at the top from the back. If you just undo those 2 screws, the back plate will fall off, thereby releasing the chain, and you can take the rear mech off by a very large hex bolt here. So that's what I did. And so when it came back to me, the reverse had to be done. I had to take the rear derailleur apart, take this back plate off, and try and put it back on. And I found out after about an hour of fiddling around with my hands totally covered in grease that it's basically a 2-person operation. So Agata was coaxed back into the cave here, and together it's taken us an absolute age, but we've managed to put it back on. I think the learning points is that it is definitely a 2-person operation, and there's just absolutely no point trying to do it yourself. So with the bicycle upside down, of course, first of all I put this chain on the wrong way around. So as you can see, the chain comes round when it's the right way, the bicycle's this way up. It comes up here, goes in, and don't forget you have to get it past this metal spigot here. So it's quite easy to put the chain over that metal spigot. Can you see that metal spigot there? And then that's wrong. So it's got to go inside, and then round the back, and then underneath. Again, it's easy to get it stuck outside of this point. Sorry, this point here. Can you see that? So that's the new position. So with that said, pairing of the SRAM is just a dream. You start with the rear mech, and then you go to the other components. So in this case, the front mech, and then the handlebars. And you press the button until it starts flashing quickly, and then you go back to the rear mech and press the button once more, and then that's paired all the items together. So now it's fine. I've just been on a 1k just test ride. Everything seems fine, and we're going to do a much bigger ride now. So fingers crossed, nothing will go wrong. Everything will go right, and it's all fixed. So the only other bicycle that Agatha and I share together is this one, and that's the Ribble R872, 2018-19, late 18-19 version. So that's now been put back into retirement, and we're back to the proper race bicycle, which is here. Okay, so what a palaver. It's all done. I'm so thankful. I'm really looking forward to using the eTap again. It really is a superb set of kit, and it just makes shifting a pleasure. Okay, thanks for watching, Darry.